More now on whether to extend those Bush tax cuts, which is sure to be hot in the minds of voters leading up to the midterm elections in November. What will the new agenda look like if the Republicans end up taking the House? Our senior correspondent, Charlie Gasparino, joined now by Republican Congressman Member Bachus of Alabama. Take it away, Charlie.
Spencer, I guess we could say you might be the new Barney Frank. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would maybe be the new chairman, but I don't think I would ever be the new Barney Frank.
And we're talking about chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. I want to start off with the news on on the Bush tax cuts, the Bush tax rates. Do you think at the end of the day, we know there's a lot of haggling about it right now in Congress, both in the House and in the Senate. At the end of the day, the tax rates will be extended?
I certainly hope so. The worst thing you can do when the economy is delicate is to raise taxes, and it would be a big mistake. It would impact job creation, particularly in that if you raise them for those small business owners, they quit hiring, and 80% of the new jobs will have to come from small businesses. What you do is you attack the spending,
right?
Not raise the revenue. The problem is not it's not a lack of revenue. The problem is too much spending.
But could you give us a political prognostication here? I mean, do you see the Democrats softening on this and looking to extend them?
You know, I think Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid want to keep the spending going, and it's going to be hard for them to wean themselves off this revenue. But I think if they don't, I think the American people will send a Congress that will stop the spending and won't be raising their taxes.
Okay. You were very much involved in the new financial reform legislation in the sense that you tried to change it. You ultimately voted against it, as did, I believe, just about every Republican. Let me ask you this. Fannie, Mae, and Freddie Mac, two of the big mortgage lending agencies, government-sponsored enterprises that a lot of people say caused the financial crisis by doing all that subprime lending. Why wasn't Fannie and Freddie dealt with within the Dodd-Frank bill?
Well, two reasons. One, the Democrats wanted to keep Fannie and Freddie in the business of extending credit to people with poor credit ratings, with no down payments, with high loan-to-value ratios. In fact, they've started, Charlie, two new programs, affordable housing and a home path mortgage program, where you don't have to make a down payment. Your credit can be bad credit, and
well, that's interesting. Can I stop you right there? Are you saying the Democrats are once again prodding Fannie and Freddie to do subprime lending again?
Oh, they certainly are. In fact, you can get you can have bad credit. You can pay a 62 cents down payment, and you can get a very high loan to value mortgage. So we're getting right back into what caused the subprime meltdown to begin with. Affordable Advantage and home path mortgage programs. In fact, today I've written Edward,
the head of the FHA.
Yeah, DeMarco.
Right.
I've written him and said, you know, can we stop this? In fact, I have had conversations with him, and he was actually unaware that these programs had been started back, even though, as head of the Federal Housing Finance Authority,
you say the head of the FHA had no idea that they were doing subprime lending again?
Yeah, he is the regulator, but they didn't advise him. So that's one more reason why we should have acted on Fannie and Freddie. We should have tightened their underwriting standards. We should have actually put them in receivership as opposed to a conservation.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second.
Conservatorship.
I'm going to get to that in a second. Are you saying that Barney Frank himself blocked Fannie and Freddie reform?
Well, I think the Democrats were united in blocking it.
Okay.
I think they want to continue to use this as a social policy tool to put people in home mortgages and at the expense of taxpayers.
Sure. What happens, assuming the Republican State Congress, you have a good chance of becoming the head of the House Financial Services Committee, you'll have a say in this. What happens to Fannie and Freddie? Do they get privatized? Do they get dismantled? Do you basically merge them together? Do you have any plans on what to do with them?
Well, you know, a merger doesn't end the problem. To bring back private lending and the private mortgage market, you can't have a you can't have the federal government subsidizing a government-owned, government-sponsored program. Taxpayers shouldn't have to subsidize someone else's home mortgage.
So you're saying you should.
The government is, yeah, the government is not in the business and shouldn't be in the business of taking from one citizen and giving to the other.
So you're saying they will be dismantled, or the Republicans will try to dismantle Fannie and Freddie?
Absolutely, and we will give, we'll have sensitivity to the fact that, presently they're handling 90% of the mortgage market, and you can't, an addiction, you can't just withdraw an addiction, but quite frankly, we're addicted to cheap government money and taxpayer-supported, taxpayer-guaranteed money. And that addiction process, you're going to have a weaning process.
So you're saying you'll dismantle it? It'll be difficult to get the president to agree to that, won't it?
Well, it will. And, ultimately, we hope to win in November. We hope to finish the job 2 years from now.
Right.
With a new president.
Absolutely. Let me ask you about financial reform. As I said, you voted against it. You were involved in the process. Is there any feeling that, okay, everybody hates Wall Street, greedy Wall Street guys, their excessive risk caused the financial collapse, led to the Great Recession that we're probably still in, even though there's some evidence to the contrary. But aren't we kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater here? All these regulations, all this extra capital, doesn't that hamper the capital formation process? You actually need Wall Street and the banks to lend, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And Wall Street was part of the problem, but they're part of the solution. And a healthy Wall Street means a healthy Main Street. But Wall Street, where we differ with the Democrats' approach, is some of the special favoritism towards certain Wall Street firms. I mean, I think Obama or Wall Street, some on Wall Street have really had their way with this administration.
Oh, who would that be? Can you name names?
Well, the too big to fail firms, where the government has guaranteed their debt, they bought their debt.
So you're saying firms like Citigroup?
Continuation.
Are you saying, are you singling out firms like Citigroup and Bank of America for getting special treatment from this administration?
Oh, absolutely. The small banks didn't get, Citi and Bank of America, because they were in trouble, they were given low interest or no interest loans and guarantees, and really an implicit guarantee that the government would stand behind them. Now, it's no longer implicit. Actually, in the new financial regulatory bill, it actually says that the government can borrow 90%.
Right. Well, if you guys
of the assets.
If you guys take control of Congress, would you look to roll back some of this stuff? I mean, will there be hearings on specific aspects of financial reform and the Bachus-led Financial Services Committee looking to roll back that stuff?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to end too big to fail. We're going to end the taxpayer guaranteeing failure. Corporations are going to stand or fall on their own merit, and we don't believe that too big to fail is fair. In fact, if you're going to bail out the largest American corporations, what do you say to an individual or a citizen?
So let me see if I got this right. You're going to introduce an amendment, some sort of legislation that says explicitly too big to fail will be over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's news right there. Spencer Bachus, thank you. Good luck in the fall.
Thank you, Charlie.
Okay.
And thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
Smile.